Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of Rendezvous with Anza Saqib on CxO Global TV. CxO Global Forum is a knowledge sharing platform for all C levels across the globe. We take massive pride in contributing to the knowledge economy with our league of extraordinary thought leaders. Today, as well, we've got a very special guest with us, Mr. Sibtain Jiwani. He's the CEO and founder of Smartchoice.pk. Sibtain Saab, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Anza. It's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me on this show. I've been following CxO. You guys are doing some amazing work, and you've got some great lineup of speakers every time. So great job on that.
Thank you. So I guess everyone's more interested in knowing about your journey so far. So where did you begin? Where did you go to school? What courses you studied? How did you end up here?
Sure. Right. So I did my I went abroad for my higher studies. I went to England for studies. So I did business information technology. There it was kind of a double majors in business and technology. It was a kind of a new thing back in the days. I was there in Manchester Metropolitan University. I did my bachelor's from there, worked there for a while, and then I decided to move back to Pakistan. Then I started working here for a growing fintech company. Some people might have heard the name TPS. So I looked after their business growth, business development. Initially, I started from the Pakistan market, looking after their critical accounts because they were into payments and cards industry. So back in the days, if you go 10, 12 years back, it was a very early days of digital banking and electronic payments. I worked there looking after Pakistan market initially, and then I was also looking after the West Africa side, which is the French-speaking countries. So I did work there for about seven years, odd years. On the parallel, I was always intrigued to get into the business side and start my own venture. The idea was of Smart Choice is that we are an insurance marketplace for individuals to buy products like if you're looking for car insurance, travel, health, and similarly for SMEs, we also help them with employee health insurance and employee life insurance. So the idea inspiration really came when I was studying in UK, and very early in my life I was exposed to insurance and how easy and important it was, because whenever we moved in a house, we had to get house insurance, home insurance, we had to get car insurance, and it was quite regulated, like you have to have insurance. So yeah, I wanted to do this in Pakistan because I saw that the penetration of insurance wasn't that huge. And since because when we started back in the day 2015, at that time 3G and 4G was just launched. So before 3G and 4G, Pakistan had only about 5 million internet users, and 4G 3G really kicked off that entire growth, and now we have more than 100 million users. So that is how I got into this space, and I wanted to make insurance easy and accessible and affordable for the masses.
That's amazing, and wow, what a journey. So for the common man, what exactly does Smart Choice do? If you can break it down for us.
Absolutely. So typically, if you're looking for insurance, so there are ways that you can go and buy insurance. You can go directly talk to an insurance company. You can talk to an insurance agent.
And now bank insurance as well, right?
Yeah. So bank insurance, you go to a bank and go to a bank branch, and you're saying they might offer you a life investment plan for 20 years where you can opt for it. However, it's a financial product, right? And this financial product needs a lot of understanding, a lot of awareness. And when the common man in Pakistan, unfortunately, the financial literacy, it's still in a very nascent stage. Not a lot of people understand what insurance covers, what it doesn't cover. There are a lot of jargons that you need to understand. And there is no one to simplify it. The insurance company is more interested to sell you a product. The agent is more interested to earn their certain commission on the policy. And we saw this huge gap that consumers are there, There are car owners, there are people who are traveling, there are people who would be considering health insurance, but the insurance companies are not focusing on the individual customers the way they should in terms of educating them, of making awareness, and then making them purchase or go for the product. So Smart Choice essentially is an aggregator. So we are a middleman. What we do is that we have simplified insurance in a very simple layman terms, and we work with multiple insurance companies at the back. So we have about 15 insurance partners. You have, let's say, looking for car insurance, you come on a platform, you provide certain details about your car, like what model you have, what's the price value, and then we will show you multiple options. So those multiple options, you don't have to go to insurance companies. Now everything is simple, transparent in front of who's charging how much, what kind of coverage they are offering. And this service is completely free of charge. We don't charge you anything.
Wow.
Whatever you are paying directly to the insurance company. And obviously, we are not doing it
But
as
then
as a non.
how does your business model work?
Yeah, I was coming to that point. So we are not a non-profit organization. We generate revenue or income because insurance companies pay us a certain commission on the policy that goes through us. So that's, but for the end customer, they are not paying anything extra because they are buying it through us. They are paying the price that an insurance company would charge anyway if you go directly as well. So in other words, you are, as a consumer, you are getting much more than what you would get if you go directly, because we would help you, we would assist you with what is covered, what is not covered. We even help you with claims as well. So we offer free claims assistance as well. Because at the time when you buy a policy, it's a promise. An insurance company is putting down a few terms and saying, we promise you that if something goes wrong, we will be there to support you, right?
Absolutely.
Now this policy can have a few terms and conditions and how to go about and do the claim. So we have even made that simplified as well through our process. So we are an aggregator. We make it compare the policy plans, and then you can buy the policy as well through our platform from any of the insurance partners we work with.
That's amazing, and it sounds very impactful what you're trying to do with Smartchoice.pk. But right now, I think the understanding is more towards B2C. How
Yeah.
about smaller businesses and the SME sector in particular? Um, how would being a part of Smartchoice.pk benefit them? Because as I understand it, they already have to get health insurance and stuff for their employees, and they do get a lot of corporate discounts and packages, right?
Yeah. So in Pakistan, insurance companies have majorly focused on corporate business lines. So in Pakistan, the entire insurance premium, which is underwritten, is $2 billion every year.
Mm-hmm.
And out of that $2 billion, about 60% goes towards life insurance, which is the unit link or bank assurance that as we say. That is the 60%. So actually, the remaining 40% is where we have health insurance, we have travel, we have motor insurance, and everything. And even in that, majority of the insurance companies have focused on corporates. Now, you would see, you would assume that most corporates have insurance, or they are covered with insurance, or they have some they have all their assets covered. Yes, their assets are covered. Now insurance companies have again focused more on the corporate side, which often go for multiple insurance products, be it fire, theft, marine. However, the health insurance segment is completely neglected. And what we identified when we started working on individual segment, that there were a lot of SMEs, there were a lot of small businesses like 10 employees, 20 employees, and insurance companies are actually not supporting them, not actually assisting them with health insurance. So through our platform, what we've also simplified is that as an SME, we help you with your employee health insurance. And in today in Pakistan, only 20% or even less than 20% of the employers offer some kind of health insurance to their employees. The 80% market is still available and is still under tapped or underserved as yet. And that is the space that we figured out that there is available. And now we have more than 200 businesses who have taken health insurance for their employees through our platform. We work with multiple insurance companies to make that process completely simple. and very straightforward for an employer to onboard their employees and onboard the family members of the employees as well.
Right. Mr. Jiwani, thank you so much for sharing that information. And one of the things that everybody working in the insurance industry always says is that life insurance or medical insurance, any sort of insurance for that matter, you don't really need to sell it. It sells itself because it's such a need at the hour. But in Pakistan, I've seen that people are still a little more hesitant upon getting insured. Um, One of the opinions is that insurance companies in general need to be more customer centric. Are you trying to bring about that change with Smartchoice.pk?
100%. That is, you've actually you've really identified a real key issue in Pakistan. It is that it is insurance companies needs to be a lot of customer centric. And when you say customer centric, uh, what I understand and what we really believe is that when you say customer centric, it is all about making sure that the customer is served at the time of claim, and they don't have to go around looking for departments, getting through multiple phone calls to get the claims process done, or even get the claim process started or get the settlement done. And this is the core reason why the customers today at Smart Choice, we have a huge customer base, which is a repeat customer base who buys multiple policies through us. We have a lot of businesses. We have more than 80% of the businesses who've taken health insurance through us have renewed their policies. Now, the reason for that is because we have actually served even a small customer, a small employer who employs only 5 or 8 people. He has gotten the same service level as a company with 100 or 100 more than 100 employees. And that is how we believe the change has to come because of customer service, claims, and there are a lot of processes and a lot of technology that has to be built on top to make this experience completely digitized and completely convenient. Because
So you make a very
unfortunately,
valid point, Mr. Jiwani, and just to add to it, and I want you to explain this bit as well. Um, you mentioned technology, and we know that there
yeah,
is very big shift from insurance to insure tech now.
yeah,
I know Smartchoice.pk is a step in that direction.
yeah.
But why exactly? I would like you to elaborate on why exactly is it so important to inculcate tech in insurance industry these days?
Right. So the thing is, see, it's the insurance is a matter of when you talk. So let's just pick one product. So if you talk about health insurance, now health insurance is something which, when you buy, you are actually buying it for a time when something goes wrong, right? And let's say you are at a hospital and you have to use your health insurance. Now, until the insurance company does not give the approval to the hospital, your claim will not even begin. So the hospital may ask you for money. They would say, give us the money. Until you don't pay us, we will not start the operation, or we will not start operating the customer, the patient. Now this is a very just in time problem, right? You can't like wait for 2 days or 1 day or even 1 hour, right? It has to be very instant. The entire response time has to be very quick and fast. Now, if the customer, there is technology, and technology makes sure that this can be enabled at the hospital, at the insurance company, and at the employee end or the patient end, where you begin the claim process, and the entire thing happens within like 5 minutes. Why can it not happen? And technology can actually make that happen. That all the approval that has to have happen can just happen through one single click, starting from the patient or the employee goes towards the hospital, going towards the insurance company, or if there is any middle party like a third party administrator managing that claim process. And this has happened throughout the world, and so it is definitely need of the time. Still, Pakistan, these claims are processed in a fast manner. It's not that it takes like days to happen at a hospital. However, it takes about an hour. What if we can bring it down to 5 minutes? We can bring it down to 2 minutes, and this is certainly would change the entire experience of the person who got insurance. And imagine the word of mouth that you would get just because of that service level that can happen. So there are a lot of examples that can be quoted. If you talk about car insurance, why does it has to take for a third party surveyor company to come and conduct a survey of an accident? Why cannot
I
be
thought that
done
was
through a mobile?
yes, that was absolutely bogus. I mean, most of the claims as well, I think, because that's one of the reasons that they prefer that the third party comes in. But we all know the story. I mean, sometimes there's so many claims that are deliberate, and it's just a misuse of authority from the third party as well. So, unfortunately, I know there's a lot of room for improvement. But what I would
Yeah.
like you to shed light on is the fact that we've all been hearing about the government's efforts towards medical insurance in particular. So we
Yeah.
do hear of the Sehat cards and health cards and whatnot. What is your take on this? And we do hear of a lot of digitization going on in their end as well.
I think it's an absolutely amazing initiative by the government. I think that point of being a welfare state. The health part is one of the critical things, because what we've seen as well, like people who do not have health cover, health insurance, and in case there is a situation, I'm talking about blue collar, I'm talking about certain people who are at a certain income bracket. In case there is a medical conditions, the hospital bills actually take them into debts. They have to take out loans, they have to ask someone for money, they have to go to their company to give out loans to them, advance salary, and all of that pushes them further down the poverty line, right? And this initiative by the government really is going to support the masses who actually are looking for basic health coverage, or at least get basic coverage. So I think it's a great initiative. The only challenge which I see with this is that the way they are executing it in a very grand scale, in a very short time, and opening it up for the entire Punjab, because Punjab is the biggest province. It has more than 30 million families, and onboarding 30 million families at the same time, and ensuring that the service levels are managed at the hospital level as well, because there is also a capacity issue. The hospitals cannot entertain non-critical surgeries or non-critical emergencies, right? There are certain emergencies which can be, or conditions that can be covered later on or can be delayed. However, with this health cover, a lot of people will demand that kind of service, and unfortunately I don't think the hospitals would be able to manage it. And when they won't be able to manage it, it would give a bad name to the entire initiative. So I think they should have taken down that into phases, starting with maybe tier 2 cities, and then going towards Lahore or bigger cities. I think they should have started with the smaller cities and then build up the infrastructure, the baseline, and then going towards that. However, I think it's a great initiative. The coverages that they're offering are pretty extensive. However, on the private health insurance, I don't think this will replace private health insurance. The companies that are opting for private health insurance would still opt for it, because there are a lot of other things that which are not covered in this insurance,
Right.
and the service levels, that because a lot of private hospitals are still not on the government health card. There are few private hospitals and most of the government hospitals. So I think there's a lot of work
But
needs
it's
to be
still a
done, but
step
it's
in the right direction, definitely.
absolutely.
So speaking more, less about insurance now and a bit more about being a startup founder, um,
Yeah.
have you faced any challenges necessarily coming, to this step? And what would your word of advice be to other aspiring founders?
I think entrepreneurship is all about challenges every day, day in, day out. I've been doing it for the last 5 years, more than 5 years actually. Well, there are all sorts of challenges. Initial days, you are very, you're bootstrapping. You are running with your own cash. So hiring talent is a challenge. Getting the optimized resources out there is a challenge. And at the time when we started, fundraising was not a common thing. It was a very new thing at that time, and it was happening in very little pockets. So you could not raise outside capital from venture capitalists or even seed or angel rounds. So it was very early days at that time. So we had all sorts of challenges, from running capital financing to team hunting. However, things what really kept us going, that is the most important thing. What kept us going? So what kept us going was the validation that we were getting from the customers. So we were actually solving a problem, and we were taking feedback from customers, and we had recurring customers. We were able to solve a problem where we were adding value to someone's life. And that impact really allowed us to understand that this is a scalable problem. Like, there is a problem which has a solution and it can be scaled. So one of the biggest advice I would give to founders would be to look at whatever you're solving there. It could be a small business, it could become a bigger business. To make it a bigger business, you need to understand, is this problem big enough for a lot of people? Are there people who would be ready to pay for that service, or there would be any suppliers who would be happy to work with you? Are there customers willing, maybe if not today, are there more customers coming into the pipeline down the road? What are the factors that are going to drive the growth? So all those things, if that are there, then the bet you are taking, the risk that you are taking, is definitely worth it, and you should go all in and keep on going and working towards that.
Thank you very much. That was very extensive and very apt, I must say, and I'm sure a lot of people learned a lot today. Now, let's talk a little about your own personal life. Uh, what else interests you other than insurance and your work?
Well, as an entrepreneur, you spend about 14, 15 hours a day working towards just one goal and doing that. But I'm quite into sports as well. So I keep myself physically active by being involved in different sports that I play. Apart from that, I'm planning to we are also working on growing our SME side of the business. So I'm quite involved with that side of the business, to how to expand the SME side, because that is something which has grown quite a lot in the last year or so. So apart from that, my interests are specifically reading about entrepreneurship and how to help others. So I also help a lot of other startups on the side, advise them, basically new ideas that are coming in. So I try to challenge them. I work as a devil's advocate with them. I sit down with them, because I've been through the same phase, and I don't want others to face those similar pitfalls or problems that we faced in initial days. So yeah, spend most of the time advising other startups and other aspiring entrepreneurs who plan to enter this field in the next 1 year or two. And I know a lot of experienced professionals who plan to enter into the entrepreneurship in the next 1 or 2 years, and I'm happy to talk to them, and I'm really excited. There are a lot of experienced people, professionals coming in and planning to come into this space.
That's extremely generous of you, and we at CxO which wish you all the best, and hope and pray that you keep contributing to the knowledge economy. Uh, Unfortunately, in the interest of time today, we will have to wrap up here. But before we do wrap up, I would like to ask you, what do you think, briefly, is the utility of forums like CxO?
I think the real purpose is to get more people engaged into a conversation around technology, how technology, business can work together. How what are the thought leaders thinking about? What are the next few things that are upcoming? And I think it's primarily getting the audience engaged and build a community, and add value to that community by sharing insights, opinions, and guidance to the people, aspiring founders, aspiring entrepreneurs, aspiring people who are looking for new roles in their life, or growing their careers. So I think it's all about sharing knowledge and being engaged in that community.
Right. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Jiwani.
Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that will be all for today. Keep watching, keep us updated with your comments and feedback. We'll see you next time with another interesting guest.